Spatchcocking. It's a funny word, but it's an awesome cooking technique, so go ahead and get your giggles out now. Have Chef Will Travel. We have traveled. We're at a different kitchen. We're at a friend's house for Friendsgiving, as you can see by the sign in the background. First things first, we're going to take the bird out of the bag. It's a 22-pound turkey. You want to be careful when you're opening it not to score the skin or cut the turkey. We just want to cut the bag, not the bird. We're going to lift this out of here, and we're going to really carefully save all these juices. I know you want to call it blood. It's not blood. It's just water and statin. Statin is a protein that when it's in the presence of water, it looks red. And that is a lot of flavor, and we are not looking to lose that flavor. So we put that into a pan for later use, and we're going to add all the innards from the bird to that. We're not going to waste anything. Now on a bird this big, spatchcocking can get ugly, so skip to 304 if you don't want to see me going to town with a cleaver. So first things first, I'm going to cut the skin and the muscle and find all these bones, and this will give me somewhere to aim when I bring out the cleaver. The essence of spatchcocking is that we're just looking to remove the backbone from the bird, and this will help us to lay this out in such a way that every inch of skin is exposed and gets that nice brown crunchy texture that everybody loves in the skin of a turkey. So we're going to go in here, and with a chicken this is a lot easier because you can just use some kitchen shears, but a turkey, it's going to take a little bit more doing, so I always break out my cleaver. And like I said, this is a big 22-pound turkey. So once we get this backbone separated, again, don't throw that out. We're going to save that. This is how we make our gravy, or our turkey stock for our gravy. So we're going to set that aside. And then on a bird this big, I just give this breastbone a couple of hits with the cleaver to make sure that when I flip this bird over and I give it the CPR, that breastbone breaks in half and flattens out really well. And again, spatchcocking is a great technique to make sure you brown up all that skin, get it all crispy. And I'm going to tuck these wings in like this and tuck his legs back in. They give you a flap of skin here to tuck his legs in. Now I'm going to flip him over on a different pan because I'm going to be cooking on that pan, and we're going to go ahead and season this bird on the inside with our ever-present herb salt. And don't be shy about this. I mean, salt this bird down good. So now some aromatics. This will help flavor the bird from the underneath side as they cook down. I'm going to go in with about a half a pound of celery, 6 to 8 green onions that I've just cut in half. I'm going to use about a half a pound of baby carrots. And even though these are specifically to flavor the bird, they are edible afterwards, and they are really tasty because they get cooked right there in all that turkey juice and the basting that we're going to do. I'm giving it about 5 or 6 good-sized cloves of garlic, and then I'm going to use about half of a large onion that I've cut into about 3-inch wedges. And when you're cleaning your vegetables to put under here, like I said before, don't throw that scrap away because we're going to use that in our stock too. That's just flavor, and you don't want to throw flavor away. Now with our aromatics ready, we're going to go ahead and set the bird on top and give it a really good seasoning. Make sure to tuck everything in here. Now sometimes this stuff doesn't stay tucked, and that's all right, but tuck it in at least at the start for presentation's sake. Now like I said, with the spatchcocking complete, this bird is flattened out. It's going to accelerate your cooking time. It's still going to take about 4.5 hours for this bird to cook. I mean, it's 22 pounds. But by far, the best thing about this technique is the fact that every inch of the bird's skin is exposed to the oven to get crispy and golden brown. And I mean, everybody loves that part of the turkey. And again, salting it well with our ever-present herb salt, that brings a lot of flavor to the bird as well. And then before I forget, because I almost forgot, we're going to put some herbs underneath the bird as well. We're going to use some sage, rosemary, thyme, oregano, and a little bit of parsley. And again, this will just bring a lot of flavor to the bird and to our juices in the bottom of the pan for basting the bird with. I almost forgot, but almost doesn't count. All right, in our stock pot, we have that broken backbone, the neck, some of the innards, and I'm just going to toss in all this vegetable, quote unquote, scrap, the trash. Normally I'd tell you to chop up those celery leaves, add those to your herb salt, but it's okay. There's always extra celery leaves, so they'll just go in here with the tail end of the celery stalk, the onion skins, and we're going to throw in some garlic, of course. And then we'll bring in pretty much the same herbs that we used on the bird, some rosemary, some thyme, a little bit of oregano, and some sage. And feel free to just kind of break these up and let those oils get out of that stem and flavor up our turkey stock. I know this is looking like it's pretty full pan, but it'll all cook down as it boils, and we're going to boil this pretty much the entire time that we cook the turkey. So we're going to get a lot of flavor out of this. And now we'll put in our last ingredient, just plain old tap water. Now, as this boils away, we will be refilling it, so fill it to the top for now, but be aware that you're going to be filling it up again later. I'm going to make a little fresh herb butter to baste this with. So I've got 2 sticks of butter, doesn't matter if it's salted or unsalted, about a tablespoon of garlic powder, about 2 teaspoons of black pepper, and I've got about a 1/4 cup of chopped sage, rosemary, and thyme. Way more sage than rosemary or thyme, twice as much sage. The turkey really loves sage as a flavoring. We're just going to give this a quick stir to combine it and let this melt here on the stove top. And we're going to put our bird in at 500 degrees. That seems a little high, but it's only for the first half hour. And after a half hour, it's going to look like this. Now we're going to give it a good basting of the butter and make sure to cover every square inch of that skin. This butter base is what's going to make this skin really crunchy, and it's going to give it that russet brown color you're looking for. Now we're going to turn the oven down from 500 to 375, which seems like a dip, but it takes some time for the oven to lose that heat. An hour after we basted it, so an hour and a half in the oven, it looks like so. And at the 3-hour plus mark, look at how brown our turkey is. And at this point, I've only basted the turkey with the butter twice, and now I'm just using the juices from the pan, and I'm basting this every half hour for as long as I'm cooking it. After an hour and a half, we turned it from 375 down to 350. An hour after that, we turned it down to 325, and we'll let it rest at 325 for an hour, hour and a half. All told, bird cooked for 4.5 hours, but it was really done in 4, and that last half hour we were just keeping it hot. And look at the finished product. No turkey is complete without the cranberry accoutrement. So we're going to start with 12 ounces of cranberries. I'm going to add 8 ounces of raspberries. I'll come back to that in just a second. We're going to add 1 cup of sugar. White sugar is fine, but I had turbinado raw sugar available, so that's what I used. And then to brighten everything up and cut through that sweetness a little bit, the zest of about half a lemon. That's all you need to make cranberry sauce. You don't have to thicken it. You don't have to add water. You just have to keep it moving around and keep the heat on it. The raspberries will add some sweetness, but it'll also add a little bit of texture with those seeds as a little crunch. So now if you don't want to add the raspberries or you don't have raspberries to add, that's fine. Nothing else about this recipe changes. 12 ounces of cranberries, 1 cup of sugar, a little lemon zest to brighten things up. And like I said, just keep it moving and keep it hot. And it'll take maybe all of about half an hour on a medium heat to get to this consistency right here. And at this point, if you want to thin it out with a little water, feel free. I haven't talked much about our turkey stock, but I mean, you just put it on a burner and give it some heat, let it boil, and keep adding water when it gets a little low. So after 4 hours, we're going to go ahead and strain all the vegetables and backbone and all the, now it really is trash. We've boiled all the flavor out of it. And if you look, you can see the rich yellow coloring of that gravy. That's just water and flavor. That's all that is. So you can use this as is. You can save this for a soup, or you can do what I'm going to do and thicken it up with a little bit of roux. And for the roux for this, I'm going to start with that herb butter that we made to baste the turkey with. Equal parts butter to flour. Give it a bit of a stir with a fork, and then add it in a little bit at a time to your gravy until you get the consistency you're looking for. I like it to be just thick enough that the herbs kind of just float and are suspended in the middle of the gravy like so. Now you want to cook your bird until it's 165 at the thickest point of the breast for at least a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. But a good sign your bird is done is when the legs just come away from the body like so. And so your major points here are start at a really high heat, then drop it down gradually as you cook the bird. Don't skimp on the salt and the herbs, and use every piece that you can. There's no such thing as trash. And whether it's Friendsgiving or Thanksgiving, I hope you and your friends all have a good one. And you know I can't close out a video without saying like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and share this with your friends if you want. And thanks for watching. I don't ever want to forget to mention that. Thanks for watching.